Chancellor, I certify to you and to the University that the candidates now to be presented have fulfilled the conditions prescribed for admission to certain degrees and are entitled to be admitted to the rank, privileges and responsibilities of those degrees.
I will now receive the candidate for admission to an honorary degree and call on Associate Professor Andy Martin, Associate Dean of Graduate Programs in the Faculty of Science.
Chancellor, Professor Colin Norman is a graduate of the University of Melbourne and has maintained strong links with the university, in particular with the astrophysics group in the School of Physics. After his undergraduate degree, Professor Norman was awarded a number of extremely prestigious scholarships and fellowships to study overseas, including a Rhodes Scholarship to Oxford University, a Magdalen College Prize Fellowship, and a Miller Fellowship at UC Berkeley. Since 1984, Colin has been a professor in physics and astronomy at the Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, cross-appointed as an astronomer at the Space Science Telescope Institute. Professor Norman has a prestigious publication record with around 200 refereed publications and over 14,000 citations and an H-index of 59. His list of co-authors reads like a veritable who's who of modern astrophysics. Key achievements of Professor Norman include papers in galactic dynamics, showing that galactic bars can be transitory features, a seminal paper developing our understanding of the recycling of gas in the galaxy, which is responsible for ongoing star formation, and many papers on the physics of X-ray clusters. Professor Norman has also maintained an active interest in observational experiments, most recently in developing new technologies for high contrast imaging. Professor Norman was head of the academic affairs at the Space Telescope Science Institute in Baltimore for 6 years, followed by a similar period as director of the prestigious Hubble Fellowship Program. Recently, he has founded the Center for Planets and Life at the Johns Hopkins University. Professor Norman has been generous with his time and ideas, in particular in supporting young Australian astronomers. He is one of the world's leading theoretical astrophysicists. Chancellor, I present to you Professor Colin Norman for admission to the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
I now invite Professor Norman to deliver the occasional address.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, Dean, distinguished faculty, graduating students, parents and friends. Since I received my undergraduate degree here 49 years ago, many of the discoveries in astronomy and astrophysics have entered our culture. We know that there was a definite beginning to the universe about 14 billion years ago. We know everything is evolving from the universe itself to stars, to galaxies, and even all the way into the intricate evolution of the domain of life. Additionally, we know that the matter and energy constituting the universe is predominantly made up of dark matter and dark energy, and its nature is consequently unknown. Only about 5% of all matter is observable to us with existing telescopes. Astonishingly, all massive galaxies have central black holes. These are singularities in space and time, and the influence of these tiny but massive objects on the structure of galaxies around them is profound. Black holes on even smaller scales have been now observed to collide and merge, and this has resulted in the observation of gravitational waves owing to brilliant measurements. Now, the youngest generation, people slightly older than you are intensely focused on habitable Earth-like planets orbiting around other stars. And based on discoveries made since this graduating class was born, we project that every star in the universe has at least a 1 to 10% chance of harboring a potentially habitable Earth-like planet. In general, the advances during this golden age of astronomy and astrophysics are increasingly rapid, and the spread of knowledge into the broad culture is also speedy. Obviously, now, there are at least three, but three I will mention, cultural perspectives. One, we may well be able to find other habitable planets to occupy over the long reaches of time that our human civilization may survive. Secondly, we may well not be alone and unique. And thirdly, the more we study Earth and other exoplanets, the more we are aware of huge changes in the climate, the planetary surface, the planetary oceans. And in fact, what we call global warming is a relatively small change for our particular planet Earth. But we do actually need to get through this small change of global warming in order to continue the adventure of our human species. And I'm optimistic that our human genius for survival will prevail. Returning now to my education. The true measure of any great society, such as we have here in Melbourne, is how it educates its youth. The great teaching ethos here at Melbourne continues to be superb. My only regret is that it is not still free to all who merit admission, as it was in those post-war years where the hope of our society lay in educating the next generation across all strata to do better. Now, you students graduate from this great university as well educated as any similar group on the planet. Be confident that you can actually achieve wonderful things. It used to be traditional at Melbourne to enter the professions of law, engineering, medicine, business. 50 years ago, there were less adventurous options. But now, in this great multicultural, affluent, highly educated society in Melbourne and other global centres, you can afford to take risks and explore fascinating and adventurous career paths over your lifetime. When things go well in life, for example, space missions, such as the Hubble Space Telescope now, and in science and technical research in general, it is all sunshine. This is not always so. Character is needed to survive the inevitable setbacks and even catastrophes. Always keep the balanced perspective and try to remember there are times for victories and at other times there are defeats. And these are important and expected markers in one's life. What's most important is to understand and remember and be grateful for the very real and fundamentally important inspiration and loyal support of family, friends, and colleagues in this great life adventure. Do not imagine that you can or you should go it alone. Congratulations to you on your graduation, and best wishes and good luck to you in your future great adventures. Thank you.